to be with you here today and welcome you. We have a couple of people who are new here today. If you're new, just raise your hand. Yes, welcome. And anyone else new here today or here for the second or third time? Okay. And those of you who are online, welcome to you too. And I do want to tell you that you all need to have we have some 3x5 cards and some writing utensils out here. We need everybody to have one of those for our service today. So if we could have an usher grab those and make sure you all have a 3x5 card, and those of you at home also have one, so that when it comes time to write some things down, you'll be ready. All right, we're doing things different today. We're having our meditation first. We're just going to try a few different ways of doing our service. And I would like to share with you, before we start with our vision, I wanted to share with you this message from Who Have I Come Here to Be, or Who Have You Come Here to Be? 101 Possibilities for Contemplation. Because this is what unity is all about. This is what Science of Mind, New Thought is all about. Anyway, so it's called Divine. I have come here to be divine. Sit quietly and hear the truth of your being. You are a portion of the divine made manifest on earth. Open your heart and allow the stream of the divine that comes from within you to fill your life, blessing you and everyone in your presence. Be still and know. There's an affirmation that goes with it that says, nothing can block the emergence of my own divinity. Nothing can block the emergence of my own divinity. I take time to connect deeply with the truth of my being. That's what we do when we spend time in meditation. Love flows freely through me and into the world, blessing all. So let us share our vision today. We are transformed lives, transforming the world. And our service leader today is Barbara Hess, and she's going to share the daily word, followed by a congregational song.
Welcome. We're already doing that dive in from that great affirmation, which follows up on our daily word today, which is wholeness. As a divine being, I am whole. Let that sink in. As a divine being, I am whole. I know I am whole, wondrously made, and a unique expression of the divine. But I truly cannot know wholeness if I become distracted by an experience of illness or thoughts of lack or limitation. I do not resist limiting thoughts. Instead, I let the light of divine understanding dissolve the darkness of spiritual ignorance. Remembering that divine life lives as me, I affirm my body's wholeness, even if I am experiencing illness. Growing awareness of the limitless flow of divine ideas reminds me I have all I need to experience a joyous, abundant life. As I say yes, again and again, to my true spiritual nature, my life becomes an ever-unfolding demonstration of wholeness. And this comes from Luke 11:36. If then your whole body is full of light, with no part of it in darkness, it will be as full of light as when a lamp gives you light with its rays. And now let's repeat our affirmation 3 times together, allowing it to sink in. As a divine being, I am whole. As a divine being, I am whole. As a divine being, I am whole. And so it is.
Please stand and
These are the hands, this is the voice to celebrate the goodness of God. I lift up my hands, I lift up my voice to celebrate the goodness of God. So as we wait, hearts wide open, then wide open, as we pray, that we may walk in the fullness, the wonder of your grace. These are the hands, this is the voice to celebrate the goodness of God. Lift up my hands, lift up my voice to celebrate the goodness of God. We hear your voice in the silence, whisper sweet and clear. And it is then that we discover your presence ever near. Ours are the hands, ours is the voice to celebrate the goodness of God. To celebrate the goodness of God. To celebrate the goodness of God.
thank you. You may be seated.
How beautiful. And it's always with singing that we can touch that aspect that we have deep inside, where we are in union and communion with the greatness of the goodness. And it's in this moment of declaration that we know that we are whole, we are goodness, we are light. And the minute we don't know, we have the opportunity to know again. And that opportunity comes every time we choose to direct our mind into the awareness we have inside, the awareness right below our thoughts. Be still and know. And for this, we are so grateful that we come together from far and from near in this room and through our internet connections, for wherever anything is in divine, the divine is the holy spot where you are. And so we're going to celebrate the holiness of this community and the holiness of us as individuals as we continue for this next hour. And so it is. And so that was our prayer for our community. But we also join in with Richmond Hill, who prays with all non-denominational, all denominations every week supporting our greater Richmond community. So if you could join with me, please. We pray for the workplaces and businesses of metropolitan Richmond, for economic development in depressed portions of the city, for the establishment of businesses that will create new employment opportunities. How wonderful. And now is always the joyous time of giving opportunities, because we have lots of opportunities always in this community. The first one that I have on my list is our World Day of Prayer Healing Circle, and that's going to be Sunday, September 8th at 12:30. So we want everyone to come out and really appreciate this, really appreciate how we can come together with our own healing and the healing of our community in this great World Day of Prayer, where we come together with lots of people in the area. We also have an opportunity coming up Sunday, September the 22nd, from 1 to 3 p.m. You Have a Story. We have a wonderful member, Jonathan Neely, and he does writing. And he does writing workshops for us to all support ourselves in using this as a creative tool to write about our life, to write about anything, and to let the truth of who you are from inside come up. It's a time that you can heal, maybe some activities or some portions of your life that you want to write and journal about and let go of, or it's a time to journal so you can go deeper. It's a win-win. And he does it in a beautiful way. You do not have to be a writer. I've taken his workshop before. He supports everyone wherever you're at. You have the opportunity to share or not. So it's a very open, flexible, and he is allowing this to be on a love offering basis, and all the proceeds will come back to the church. So that's a very generous offering that he's given, and a generous way that we can support ourselves and also support the financial health of our church. And then we do also have gala events. We had one out at Carol Lapierre's house this month, and I hear it was lovely. So we want to thank Carol for that. And then we have another one coming up September 27th. And this is going to be a game night. It's going to be here at Unity of Richmond. The cost is $20. It will accommodate up to 25 people. There's going to be some tea, some sweet tea, lemonade, watermelon, some pork, chicken, salad, or sliders, and then salad, some pasta toss, fries, chip salad, and a flourless chocolate cake. So there's all kinds of goodies to eat. But once again, this is a great way that members of our congregation offer their time and do this, and all of the money from this once again benefits the church. So it's a great way to come together in community, which is a really fun thing to do, as well as support the financial health of our church. And then we do have another event coming up. It's called Equinox Fest. There's some flyers out in the foyer. It is going to be 11 to 3 on October the 5th. The rain date will be October the 26th. It's going to be across the field in Blanton Field. So this will also, I think, accommodate our fall festival, and I believe Penelope is going to come up and talk to us more about that.
Oh, there she is.
I'm not good at public speaking. And
Use
I
the
tried
mic.
to have, I'm sorry. See, I told you I'm not good at this. I had tried to prepare something great to say to you guys, and Barbara did it.
It's on.
It's on? Okay.
Yeah.
Better? Oh, okay. Better? Okay. So Barbara sort of covered what I wanted, what I feel, and that was about the wholeness being divine. And when I look out at you guys, I see a part of my wholeness. And one of the gifts that I wanted to give back to Unity, because you have given me so much for my mental and spiritual health, is to help raise money and get us into not just the community of us, but the community that our church is in. So that is a part of this Equinox Fest. I have been in touch with the Carillon. They're willing to work with us to volunteer. And so this will be on the 5th of October. out front there are sheets to volunteer. We need so many volunteers for different things, ideas even. Even if you cannot be here on the 5th of October, there are things that you can do to help us set up and be ready for this. And I just want this to be a success, not for me, but for this church, because I think we have so much to give to the city, whether it's Caritas, Habitat for Humanity, RISC. We try to give back to the city and to other people, and hopefully we can raise enough with this festival to carry on our dreams. Thank you so much. And you can, I'll be out front after this is over if you have any questions. Thank you.
So you can see there's wonderful opportunities that are all of them are win-win, which brings me to our next announcement, which is a 50-50 raffle. Who doesn't want unexpected income? You never know from whence it comes. And so we are going to be having a 50-50 raffle. Armand, if you can stand up so people know who you are. Armand is going to be selling tickets starting today. And the tickets are going to be sold for a full month. It will be a 50-50 raffle. If you don't know what that means, it means you get 50% of whatever comes in from the raffle, and the church gets 50%. So once again, it's another win-win situation. So please see Armand. You're not limited to one ticket. You can buy as many as you dream possible. And then we also have a garden day coming up this coming Wednesday. It's just a reminder. We always have garden days. It's going to be at 9:30. You can see that our garden is feeling very abundant. And there's lots of things that are growing in abundance. And so we need to tend those things too. So if you can come at 9:30 for garden day, we'd appreciate that. And as always, just as Penelope mentioned, we do support Caritas every month. And so I want to thank everyone who supports that, whether they come in person or they bring food or they bring a prayer consciousness. All of this helps with Caritas. So thank you, everyone, for these great opportunities. And Valorie wants to come up, I can tell.
Since we're talking about opportunities and outreach, two things. One is anyone who would like to visit Marion Del Corso, who is in a rehab facility right now, please contact me and I'll get you connected as to the room and where she is. She would love to have visitors from our community. Second of all, Lauren, who is just moved back here, Jackie Niles' daughter, Lauren, is doing an outreach that you'll hear about in our newsletter in the coming week, and we'll have more specifics, but go ahead and stand up, raise your hand. She can talk to you about it after the service, but she's doing a wonderful thing of outreach by collecting clothing, donated clothing, washing them up, and selling the used clothing. Is it just clothing? To help people in Gaza. So. Yeah. She's inspired to help the people in Gaza like we all would want to, yes. And, yeah. All right, so thank you. We're going to have more details next week, and we'll have a box out to collect. And our outreach will extend across the globe, which is a wonderful thing. Yes. All right.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that was another great opportunity, and I think most of you online heard it too. We have a congregant that's going to be supporting Gaza, and there will be more in our newsletter. So for you online that might not have caught all of it, that's the gist of it. And we're going to have donation items, but you can find out about it online. And in the meantime, we're going to continue our inward journey into a time of meditation, allowing yourself to settle into your seat, knowing that this is a time that when we go inside and we shut the door to our senses, that's a poem by Freeman. And he says, you shut the door to your senses. And why do you do this? You do it because it's so easy to get caught up in all of the different things that happen in the world. And these are things. And our first unity principle says, God, the goodness is everywhere, omnipotence. And at times when we are entangled in our thoughts and our emotions, it's so hard to understand and live this principle of omnipotence. So we're directed to be still and know. It's not saying to turn away from the world, but for a short period of time, so that you can rest in your own divinity. And when you rest inside, when you settle inside, you see, you know, you are the wholeness. And every inspiration, every idea flows from this divine source. And so I often say it's my spiritual privilege and duty to rest in this divine awareness daily so that I know what is mine to do. And I can do it with compassion and clarity, without judgment, and in a unique way that only I can do. As each of you have this opportunity daily to rest in this divine wholeness, not to stop being who you are, but to allow the wholeness that you are to flow forth, so that you have the clarity and wisdom and insight to have the thoughts and the deeds and the attitude to spring forth the goodness, omnipotence, omnipresence, omniscience. That's the oneness that we all are. And you can't think your way into it. It's experiential. So you allow your mind to rest in your heart, not your physical heart, but the soul of who you are, the Samvid, the center of your whole existence. And in this space is the stillness, the peace, the joy, the bliss that is who you are. For each of us are unique expressions of God. And so allow yourself to settle in. If you have thoughts, you can simply place them in a loving, caring hand of the presence that you are. Resting in the space between your breath, the pause between your thoughts, the point of stillness that is always there. Always. Your wholeness is 100% always there. Settle in. And if your mind continues with thoughts, you can simply stay, be still and know, I am. Be still and know, I am. Filling your mind and heart with divine words. Be still and know I am. Be still and know. Allow yourself to stay with this inward directed focus as we continue to listen to the message today. Allow yourself to stay in this inward focus as we sing and give our offerings, and continue to stay in this inward focus as you step outside, doing the next task for the day. It is this inward focus that allows us to bring our wholeness into the world. And so now, as you slowly open your eyes, being aware of what might seem a little different than even a few moments before. And what is that difference? It's your wholeness. It's your divine essence shining forth. And so it is.
All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All good in my heart and my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart, and my soul. Let me know all is love, holy, holy. All one, holy, holy. All one, holy, holy. All in my heart and my soul. Let me know all is one, holy, holy.
Your turn. That's right.
Good morning. They've asked me to speak for a minute about this community and what it means to me. When I was growing up, my family went to church every Sunday. Attendance was not optional, it was mandatory. So I went to a lot of Sunday services, a lot of Sunday schools. I learned a lot of Bible stories. I was told that Jesus died so I could go to heaven instead of having to go to hell. Apparently, even at age 12, they thought that's where I was destined. As I got older, those kinds of theology made less and less sense to me. And I was introduced to divine science in the writings of Emmett Fox when I was in college. And when I read them, it was like they resonated with me in a way that was like I always knew them, but I just somehow temporarily forgot them. And even though they made a lot of sense to me and they resonated with me, I got distracted by establishing a career, raising a family, all sorts of things. And I never really took the time to unfold all the pieces and peel back the onion and get down to the real core of what it was all about. And as a result, I never really got a chance to apply them on a day-to-day basis with all the stress and the activities and the obstacles that come up in your way in your daily life. I took my kids back to the Methodist church like I grew up in, mainly because of the MYF program and the safe space it provided teenagers so they could complain about their parents. When Aaron finished school, I abandoned the Methodist church, and that's when I found this place. And I still remember the first couple of Sundays coming here and the warm welcome that Rob Rust in the back and that Robin Moore, who's not here today, gave me. I could also remember still the energy that this building has, and even it was before the renovation, so it was the old building, but even then it had the energy. But more important than the welcome and the energy was the opportunity for the messages, the classes, the workshops, the things that it took for you to really uncover all the real meaning of what the principles of New Thought are all about. For people who know me very well, you know I have a very, very strong belief in divine order. And that belief works for me every day. I use it on a daily basis to help me find some peace when there's otherwise drama and to find some joy when there's otherwise stress. It has helped me a lot. And the biggest part of that has been this community of like-minded individuals. I'm a prime example of if you do the work, you'll get the result. My mother, I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and my mother, every morning when she would get us ready and send us off to the school bus, she would always say, "Be sweet and remember who you are." For a long time, I figured that she just figured some of the younger kids couldn't always remember their names. But I later learned it was way, way more than that. She was telling me that I was part of something bigger than myself, that I was always loved, that I was always valued, that I was always appreciated, and that no matter what happened during the course of that school day, I could rely on that, and I could know that, and I could keep that with me. And that's what a community of like-minded individuals does for somebody. It gives you those reminders. It helps you remember who you are. Thanks.
I think it's my turn. It's your turn. It is my turn. That's right.
And I'll go sit in my chair. See, when you do things in a different order,
Everything
change
is
of
in
habit.
divine order, though. Faith is knowing I've got to keep going when life isn't flowing, and I don't know why. I've got to keep growing, can't just sit here and cry. I'll find solid ground, or I will learn how to fly. 3, 4. Standing at the edge of the life I know, afraid to step forward, can't see what's below. But I've come so far to the top of that hill. backwards and I refuse to stand still. Faith is knowing I've got to keep going when life isn't flowing, and I don't know why. I've got to keep growing, can't just sit here and cry. I'll find solid ground and I will learn how to fly. I thought life was a lesson like being in school, and I would be safe if I just play by the rules. But in the blink of the eye, the whole world can change. Till nothing familiar, no sure thing remains. Faith is knowing I've got to keep going when life isn't flowing, and I don't know why. I've got to keep growing, can't just sit here and cry. I'll find solid ground and I will learn to fly. And I'm aiming high, heading straight for the goal, trusting that somehow my wings will unfold. Faith is knowing I've got to keep going when life isn't flowing, and I don't know why. Faith is knowing I've got to keep going and life isn't glowing, and I don't know why. I've got to keep growing, can't just sit here and cry. I'll take a new leap and I'll learn to fly. I'm taking the leap and I will learn to fly. I'm taking a leap and I will fly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian, Forrest, and Ryan. Taking the leap and learning how to fly. Well, this is our topic today, taking the leap and living in your zone of genius. Taking the leap of knowing who you are, always, and spending the time on that inward focus to connect with who you are. So I asked you about getting a paper and pen and line and those in the room. So is there anybody in the room who doesn't have the card, 3x5 card, or a pen? Everybody have it? Because I wanted to have you write this down before we go any further. It is to keep. Yep. It is to keep. And what I want you to write on this card on one side is, I expand in abundance. I'm going to give you time to write it. I expand in abundance, success, and love. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me. As I inspire those around me to do the same. We're going to come back to that. But I do want you to take that card and have it in a place where you can continually have your reminder. So this week's message is part 2 of what I spoke about last week. And last week's topic was called, What Are Your Upper Limits? So we'll do a little bit of a review today on that. So in case you weren't here last week, you can get the whole picture. And also, it's great to review always. And if you haven't too, you can watch last week's service online and catch up there too. Because some of you came to me afterward and said this was helpful to you. And so I want to do the review, and then we'll talk about our zone of genius and how we can apply it. And again, now when I'm talking about the zone of genius, I'm talking about that actually inner, capital S self, your whole self, your holy self, living in the flow of spirit. So the big leap, take life to the next level. That is one of Gay Hendricks' books that we're reviewing today. And he's also done a couple more books too. And one of them is called Your Big Leap Year and the Genius Zone. And then the breakthrough process to end negative thinking. So he did the Genius Zone, Your Big Leap Year, and then he did the breakthrough process to end negative thinking, another book. So author Gay Hendricks talks very well about how our minds work, especially the unconscious mind, and how we can self-sabotage with shadow beliefs that were formed in our early years, our early younger years in life, just from life's experiences. Not about blaming anyone for those experiences, but there are certain things that we take on as young people and little sponges from the time we're born until we grow up. So he also talks about a glass ceiling or a limit that he calls the upper limit. And it creates a barrier between ourselves, our capacity to accept love or be love, to be abundant and creative and have fulfillment in life. And so to break that glass ceiling, as he calls it, he had 2 questions. One is, how much love and abundance am I willing to allow? How much love and abundance am I willing to allow in my life? And how do I get in my own way? And to break through that upper limit, we need to know how and when we get in our own way. So to prepare for that big leap into the genius, he said, and I ended with this last week, I think, these questions. Am I willing to increase the amount of every day that I feel good inside? Am I willing to increase the amount of time that my whole life goes well? Am I willing to feel good and have my life go well all the time? And I said last week, if you can't really say those words and you just can't get there, then say, I am willing to be willing. I am willing to be willing to feel good and have my life go well. I am willing to be willing to do that and help others do so as well. All right, so a review of the 4 barriers that he called, or these barriers which are false beliefs that we carry, that is unconscious, but it does creep up. So one is that somehow you're fundamentally flawed, that there's something wrong with me. I'm bad, I'm not good enough. That's the fundamental flaw syndrome, if you will. The second barrier is that by succeeding, you could be disloyal to others, or you might leave the people in your past behind. That's another barrier. The third one, that you are a burden to the world. And the fourth one, that you must dim your brilliance so you don't outshine the people in your past. Now, these things are pervasive things that the mind does. That's why we use prayer and meditation, to harness that mind and to let let the big mind, divine intelligence, divine mind come in and give the ego mind guidance, not the other way around, right? Ego seems to want to be in charge. So the key is to surrender to our great nature, to surrender to the I am nature, and to just be able to identify these things without judging ourselves, without beating ourselves up. It's all part of the human experience. So last week I did give examples of these 4 false beliefs. And so for those of you who were here, you might have had an opportunity to see perhaps which barriers you have carried. And if you weren't here, then again, look at that video last week, and you might have some opportunity then to look at what those barriers are by hearing the examples that were given, and then the kind of meditative questions that we did. So when we're run by these beliefs, there are some other upper limit behaviors to be aware of. And as an aside, again, not about judging yourself, beating yourself up, or blaming yourself for having these beliefs or these behaviors. It's about self-compassion. It's about bringing light, bringing awareness, so that when we know better, we can do better. So our upper limit behaviors, let's review those. Actually, I've added to them because we didn't go over all of them last week. One of them is, everybody might be able to identify with this one, worry. Okay? Worry. So, the author was having, great success, sitting in his office and, feeling good about his life, and then the next minute, he's worrying about his daughter. Oh, my daughter's away at first year in college. She must be lonely. She must be having a hard time. And then he's like, wait a minute. And he called the school. So, and then he did take that and go, oh, what's this about? That for a few moments, only for a few moments, I could feel good. And then I had to think about a worry scenario. Now, if you're worried about leaving the stove on, then that's something that you need to take action about, right? If you've left your house, you've left the stove on or something, then those are realistic worries, if you will. But actually, most of the time, our worries are making up a nightmare, right? Creating a nightmare scenario, right? All right. So blame or criticism is another one that our upper limit behaviors do. Blame or criticism. The next one is accident or sickness, argument, or as he called it, no, he didn't call it bickering, but I'm calling it argument. So we argue. Squabbling is the word he used. Squabbling. Hiding, now here's the addition to the list, hiding significant feelings. Not keeping agreements. Not speaking a specific truth to relevant people. And then deflecting. Deflecting, not being able to take a compliment, taking the spotlight off, or not being able to receive, but deflecting. All right, so again, I talked about worry, about how sometimes we need to take action about something we may be worried about. If you're creating a nightmare scenario, though, it's time to have some tough love with yourself and say, stop yourself in your tracks and say, have a talk, with yourself, but preferably not out loud while others are around. All right, the blame or criticism. Noticing how much time you spend on blaming or criticizing someone or else or yourself, too, because sometimes we blame ourselves, we criticize ourselves. And I'm reminded you of the billionaire who was bickering with his wife over an expensive choice of toilet paper. And how when he discovered that it was in his upper limit belief that he didn't deserve his wealth, that he was creating conflict around his wealth, then he was able to see that, and the author who was working with him at the time was, challenged him to cold turkey, stop complaining or blaming or criticizing your wife. And so he took that to heart, and he came back and said, wow, what a difference it had made in their relationship. They were just, it made a huge difference in a short period of time. Accident or sickness? Let's look at that one. It is a tricky one because if you have an accident or you're sick, you don't want to ask yourself or blame yourself and say, what did I do to make this happen? What was I? Beat yourself up. No. It just maybe ask, what can I learn from this? What good can come from this? Sometimes the lesson is to slow down, take care of your body, slow down, be present, slow down, and give your body the nourishment it needs to have a healthy immune system. Now, anyone who has had chronic headaches may know that these headaches are induced by stress, migraines. So what can I do to address the stress in my life? Pause, breathe, meditate. Do these things now. Don't wait until you have an illness or something like that, but have an ongoing practice of doing that. Because we don't want our thinking to be impaired, right? Like you don't want to back out of your driveway and hit your mailbox, right? The last week I gave examples of how arguments can come after periods of closeness or intimacy, and that, or even after great success in the workplace. And these are all hints that you're up against an upper limit. So we want to just kind of be aware of that. But we're here today to talk about our genius, to focus on that genius. And so we don't want to spend a lot of time on problems and conditions and that, but we do need to know the facts. And yet we don't want to hide the facts or the significant feelings. And again, tell relative truth to your relative truth to relevant people in your life. That truth empowers us to make new choices, create solutions, and have support. So now let's go to that zone of genius. Now, the author does talk about zones of incompetence. I think we all have known what that is like when you're doing something you just don't do well, right? Zones of competence, things that you can do and others can do just as well. Zones of excellence, where you can do really well, and yet you're not quite fulfilled. And zones of genius. That's what we're here to go for, the leap into your genius. So the zone of genius, in that place, we don't care about recognition or ostracism because there isn't really need for the ego in the zone of genius. In the zone of genius, we don't have any excuses. In the zone of genius, we can take fear and turn it into excitement. Again, excitement by breathing, because when we fear, the definition last week was about how if we breathe into fear, we can raise that up into an opportunity that gives us excitement. So what do you do, and what do you do doesn't seem like work. Time goes quickly, doesn't seem like work. Time, in fact, I wrote time expands for you when you're in that place of creativity and openness. And also there is a fulfillment there. There's an abundance of opportunities that you are aware of. It's like turning on the light, sitting in the dark and turning on the light. So to live in your genius zone, you spend, again, less time on problems and you focus on love. You focus less time on your personal flaws, more time on developing your connection to spirit, to your higher self. And it takes commitment to do that. It takes setting an intention and holding a vision. I was reminded of the verse in Proverbs 29:18 in the King James. It says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he." So what is that vision? That's the insight of spirit that is within you, that's giving you a specific direction. And that law is the intelligence of the flow of that divine intelligence God as principle, God as law, God as energy. God works the way we work it with the energy. So we stay aligned with the flow of spirit, and you will be happy, peaceful, and fulfilled. So I also remembered the poet Goethe, who said, whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. This means be bold, take action toward your vision, and faith it till you make it. Faith it till you make it. So there has to be commitment, which is the thing that gets you through with your faith. That commitment, making it. And sometimes it makes, we need to renew our commitment, especially when times are hard and we want to give up or move on. All right, so that's another sermon in and of itself, the thing about commitment, but we want to follow through. And when we don't follow through with commitment, that's an upper limit problem, the author is proposing. So let's look at his suggestion for making that commitment, which we have here on the screen today. The commitment is simply a statement, I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. Can you say that with me? I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. Now, this is a commitment to live in love and compassion, and staying in the flow. And then, it's a commitment to accepting the unexpected, because unexpected is a good thing. If we're expecting things to be the same, that's the rut. Those are our limits. So expect good things to happen. Expect upper limit challenges, because they will be there. And expect insights from those challenges. Expect growth and opening and expanding your heart. So now that we know about those behaviors of upper limits and so forth, again, these secrets out. These secrets are out, they're exposed and brought to light. So let's ask this question then. Would you like to make every moment an expression of your genius? Would you? I can't hear you. Would you like to make every moment of an expression of your genius? All right. Would you like to bring out your genius in ways that serve others and help yourself at the same time? Yes. So it's time for us then to get to work and discover what is your genius if you don't know already. Remember, it is the thing that you are uniquely expressing, the unique expression of spirit that you bring to the table, that you share when you're in that zone. And Unity calls it Christ consciousness. We have given you some note cards today, so you get ready now you turn that card over because you've written a statement, an affirmation on one side. So let's look at these questions then and go to that. Remember that within inward space of the heart, as we did in the meditation. And let's spend a moment. And the first question is that as you go within, what do I most love to do? Okay? Take a moment to answer that question and write it down. What do I most love to do is one, and the next one is, what work do I do that doesn't seem like work? Or what do I do that doesn't seem like work? Some of us are retired. That doesn't mean you don't do work, right? But you're busy. Yeah. Now, in my work, what produces the highest ratio of abundance and satisfaction to the amount of time spent? Again, what do I love to do? That was the first question. What work do I do that doesn't seem like work? Is the second question. The third one, in my work, what produces the highest amount of abundance and fulfillment to the amount of time spent? And what is the fourth one, what is my unique ability? Now, if you would, after you've written that down, just kind of close your eyes and go within and ask yourself, I am at my best when, and fill in the blank. I am at my best when. And then when I'm at my best, the exact thing I'm doing is. And when I'm doing that, the thing I love most about it is. There are infinite ways in which you can do the thing that you love the most or that is your best at doing. For some, it may be in the flow of writing a poem or writing some prose, or for others, it might be singing or playing an instrument. For others, it might be service to others. So again, I am at my best when I am doing what? And then when I'm at my best, what is the exact thing I am doing? This is to hone out what your zone of genius is. And then when I'm doing that, the thing that I love the most is I am totally present. I'm not thinking about what's next, what's in the past. I'm totally present and enjoying my life and knowing who I am. So now that I've given you these questions, I challenge you to spend top priority time in this day, in this week, and each day doing the thing that when you are at your best, you feel the most love, abundance, and satisfaction. So take that assignment and then report back to me, all right, after you've done it. Making priority time, not putting it as the last thing in your day, but doing it first. And you'll find that time will expand. You'll have more time, and you'll spend less time doing more. All right, so now I wanted to continue on. We're closing out now with some more of our Unity of Richmond visions that we can say together, because our community we have our visions that we've created, and we want to keep that vision. We want to keep moving forward toward that vision and always have it in our consciousness. So I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. And so we're going to do that as a community too. We're going to commit to living in our zone of genius. So let's go to our first of the Unity of Richmond visions now that were in the booklet. We didn't couldn't do it all. We did part of it last week. So together, unity is filled with love, purpose, and a path to stay in the light. It is a place of pure healing and enlightenment. Feel that. The truth of those words. Feel into that. All right, next, Unity of Richmond is filled to capacity at each gathering and produces feelings of homecoming and loving support. This prosperous connection overflows into the community and the world, bringing love, serenity, and prosperity. Okay, next, our outreach extends to Caritas, Habitat for Humanity, special holiday events at nursing homes, etc. Remember, we had that vision. All right, we hold food drives and more school programs. We serve each other as beloved community and support each other to grow in light and self-acceptance. And we are around us. Thank you. All right. This is one of my favorites. We are a focused ministry. We know who we are. We know how to serve this ministry and beyond. We have purpose, wholeness, and response. Unity of Richmond has sanctuaries and classrooms filled with enthusiastic, willing, compassionate people searching for truth through education, service, fellowship, support, in joy, and in gratitude. And we are attracting young families. Our community outreach continues to increase. We have ample staff, volunteers, and support. Unity is prosperous with monthly income exceeding expenses. We need to work on that one. Okay? We have committed Prosperity Month where people have the opportunity to give generously and continuously. And so it is. And so it shall be. And so this is our vision, and let's stick to it. So, I expand. You have that on your card. Put that in place just to remind yourself. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day. And I inspire those around me to do the same. All right. So it is. All right. Time for our ushers to come forward. And as we do, and our musicians are going to come in too, because we're going to close out with our offering and our songs. But I do want to offer you a statement of fact that during the summer months, our income has not been exceeding our expenses, and making ends meet has been a challenge somewhat. And what we want to do is turn this around, and we cannot do so without your help. You will soon be hearing from the board some more about this and specific goals that we'll be setting to get back into the black and to continue to thrive with solvency. And we know we can do this. We know that God is our source and our infinite supply. And so I invite you, pray for me as your minister, pray for our board and our leaders, and for Unity of Richmond. Keep us these visions in your prayers, in your prayer time. And in the meantime, know how much I appreciate your generosity and how much that you mean to me and how much you have given to this community, and you continue to give in so many ways. So I appreciate all of you, and I thank you, not just from the bottom of my heart, but from my whole heart. All right. Now, our ushers, and we'll close out.
Yeah, so what a heartfelt statement she just gave, and that's where we all come from, is that as a community we serve and we give, and that comes from a very deep source within. And so together we'll say our prosperity statement together. Divine love flows from me as a spirit of generosity. I know that as I give generously, I enter the flow of abundance. Every good possibility comes into view as I swim in the stream of infinite good. I am the harmony of divine love, blessed and overflowing.
When someone becomes empowered, there is a little less fear. When there's a little less fear, there is a little less anger. When there is a little less anger, there is a little less hate. When there's a little less hate, there is a little less conflict. Then there's a little more peace. And where there's a little more peace, there's a little more love. When there's a little more love, someone becomes empowered. When someone becomes empowered, there is a little less fear. When there's a little less fear, there is a little less anger. When there is a little less anger, there is a little less hate. When there's a little less hate, there is a little less conflict. Then there's a little more peace. And where there's a little more peace, there's a little more love. When there's a little more love, someone becomes empowered. Where there's a little more love, someone becomes empowered. Where there's a little more love, someone becomes empowered. Thank you.
What a great song. And isn't what this community is about? We empower each other. And so one way we do this is we always bless the gifts that come to us. And so let's say this blessing together, please. We give thanks for the gifts that will support our mission of creating a spiritually awakened world. And so it is. And so now is always a lovely time for us to have children come forward that were here today.
1, 2, 3.
And now they'll share with us.
All right, so we have Eric today, the lone standing. He loves all the attention, can't you tell? So today we talked about going to school because tomorrow is the first day of what?
School.
What grade?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Yay! And so we talked about our feelings, and we can have feelings that are what? Yeah, he doesn't want to talk about it, making him scary and happy, and they both can happen, right? And they're both okay. Then nothing's bad, nothing's good. And so you want to show them your papers? All right, so first up is our happy collage. You want to do happy first? Right, so on that, there is coloring, there's swinging for recess, there's learning new information, there is books and arts and crafts. So that's some happy stuff, yeah. Right? And then what is on scary? You want me to tell them? Okay. So scary, there's like learning new information. So we have a question mark. There's a little nervous. And there's new things. And there's eating lunch maybe by yourself. So like there's a little picture of a fella eating by himself. So those are, we can have both. And we can be scary and think about the happy things. And then happy and get through the scary things, right? You ready to start tomorrow? Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. How beautiful. And now's always a great time where we do thank yous. And I want to start off by thanking everyone in the community because everyone does something for this community. You know, we often thank everyone who's here on Sundays, which is beautiful. But we have gardeners, we have people that cook and bake, we have people that come in behind the scenes and clean, we have people that hold a prayer consciousness, we hold people in prayer, we have a whole prayer team that works. There's people online that attend regularly and then they give in their own ways. So there's so many ways that people give. So I want to thank everyone for that. And for this morning, I want to thank our musicians who bring great joy to us. They bring the music. They're always here and consistent. We want to thank the AV team for allowing our online community to come forward with us. We want to thank especially Debbie, who does make sure it's clean and that our seats are in order. So when we come in, we don't have to set up our own chairs. That's a good thing. And we always want to thank Valorie for being our lead and our board of directors, our ushers, and everyone who comes in. So thank you all. I also want to especially thank the prayer chaplains. They hold us in prayer all the time, and we always have prayer chaplains that come forward at the service so that you can have prayer afterwards. This prayer is held, Carol's coming forward, is held in complete confidence, and we also have another prayer chaplain coming up, so thank you very much. The prayers are always held in confidence, and then they are placed in a prayer box where they're continued to pray for here, and then sent to Silent Unity once again in confidence, so that there is a world praying for your prayer. Using affirmative prayer, so we thank them for that. And so now comes to a great time where we do our prayer for protection and then our closing song. Let's say this together, please. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Then let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it be